I've got a great new tip on how to tackle that tough CMA. Hi, my name is Jo Mangum, and I am a trainer, I'm an author, but more importantly, I'm your real estate coach, and that's the topic of this edition of Sell to Serve. So I've been traveling around for years doing the designation program, Strategic Pricing Specialist, and that course does a really great job of helping you learn how to build a market study, but more importantly, how to present the market study to the seller in a very influential way. But as I have traveled around, I've had a question over and over, and that question has been, hey Jo, will you please write a CMA course? So finally, I folded to the request and I decided to do a CMA course. The very first step was I pushed social media into play, and I went out and I put out all of these requests to all of these real estate LinkedIn groups and asked these two questions. What is the most frustrating problem that you have with the CMA? And then number two, what is the number one thing you want to learn? After I got all of that back, and by the way, there were hundreds of them, once I got all of that information back and categorized them, then I went and I started asking appraisers the questions that were posed by the social media group. So the very first appraiser I was talking to, I was laying out to him what I thought my outline was going to be, and he said, Jo, wait a second. You're violating the principle of the buyer's eyes. And I went, what? What principle of buyer's eyes? I've never heard of the principle of the buyer's eyes. He said, okay, here is what that is. When you get a new house that you're going to run a CMA for, the very first thing you have to ask yourself is, who is going to buy this house? Who are they? What is it that they would like about this house? Profile the buyer and then make the decision on the top 3 features that they are looking for. Then what you do is you go and you look at all of your comparables through those buyers' eyes and only pick a comparable that the buyer who would buy your subject house would buy this house as well. So it was really interesting to me. I really had to kind of sit back and absorb that. Then I ran a litmus test on it. I know somebody who's about to put their house on the market, and it is an empty nester house. It has a big downstairs floor plan, big master, professional kitchen, really a good entertaining flow. And they live in a neighborhood that has had quite a bit of activity in the last 6 months. As a matter of fact, there's been about 10 houses that have closed in the last 6 months. So I went and looked at those 10 houses. And of those 10 houses, 2 of them, the buyers who bought those 2 houses would have bought this house. And the rest of them, the other 8, were much more family type houses. Now it was really interesting. Before he introduced this concept to me, I would have used some of the other houses simply because they were in the neighborhood. So that was just the revelation of it, that I've been using some comparables that I should not be using just because of proximity or the time they were built, etc. But what I really should be doing is be thinking, which of these comparables would the same buyer buy the subject property? I thought it was a really great tip, and ever since he's had it, I think about every house and every CMA I look at in that thought process. All right, there you go. That's my CMA tip. Hey, look for the CMA class coming in about another 4 to 6 weeks. And in the meantime, I have reposted my lessons learned about pricing. You can get it just below if you'd like that, if you missed it before. And as always, if you like us, please join me on LinkedIn. Please like me on Facebook. Subscribe to me on YouTube. And in the meantime, remember, it is the learners who are the earners.